Good morning and welcome to Los Angeles. Even though obviously you can't see LA behind me, we're back. And if I seem a little bit groggy this morning, a little bit rough around the edges, it's not because I'm hungover. I don't really like drinking. It's because we moved from Joshua Tree back to Los Angeles yesterday, and I spent about 8 hours unpacking and organizing and cleaning, and it was a lot. And then I literally just rolled out of bed like 10 minutes ago. So still need a shower, still need to brush my teeth. Pretty gross. I'm glad you guys can't smell me at this point in time. Just a reminder, this is a Q&A. Only the members get to live chat. If you want a live chat, sign up and be a member. It's just $10 a month. And we've got a lot of incredible topics that we're going to talk about today. I do pre-apologize if there's any extra noises or distractions. It's kind of hard to navigate in a new environment or in this kind of environment. And just a reminder as well, I mean, we originally lived in LA. We originally lived here. And then we were literally just hiding out from quarantine and the virus for like 4 months in Joshua Tree, which was incredible. And I'm so happy the universe took me out there. And I'm also really happy to be home. And you can't see, but I have a lot of crystals around me. So it's really nice to be back in my little vortex. What else did I want to say? Yeah. I mean, like, I have my motorcycle here, and I was having actually motorcycle dreams last night, which was really fun. And then I have my greenhouse here, and I actually ended up getting this in the mail from my birthday, or for my birthday. It came as a stick, and now it's this beautiful budding tree. It's actually a willow tree, believe it or not. Anyway, I'm super happy to be back and settled in. I do have a big announcement before we get into a really incredible live video. Today's questions were really open, so they're all across the board. I'm going to be talking about ET contact. I'm going to be talking about 5D vibration. I'm going to be talking about the balance between your soul and your human. I'm going to talk about Alzheimer's. Tons of different stuff today. Angels and the angelic wars. Lots of really good stuff. Before I begin, I want to make an announcement. 2 things. 1, tomorrow's video is really intense and simultaneously really epic. And I'm going to talk all about child sex trafficking, the pedophilia ring on the planet. I'm going to talk about what the GFL says about it all, how I got introduced originally to it, and how you, as a starseed, as a light worker, have 100% been affected by this in past lifetimes, and how to dismantle, I don't want to say, the spell, the agenda, or whatever, but how to kind of break that down in your life. So tomorrow's live video, child sex trafficking, we have to talk about it. It's coming out. People want to know what's going on and how they can help, and we're going to talk all about that. Ever since I made the decision yesterday to talk about that topic, I've been getting massive amounts of downloads about the topic. So I just keep reaching over to my phone and writing stuff down. So I know it's going to be big. It's going to be really important. So keep that in mind. Second big announcement that I have for all of you today is I just put deposits down on a retreat in Mexico. So I've had retreats for probably 4 or 5 years now, but they've been spotty, on and off, not very consistent. For 2021, I have 2 retreats happening. One is going to be in April, and the second one is going to be in, I believe it's September. So if you're interested, the first retreat is going to be men and women. The second retreat is going to be all women. So be aware of that. Please email me now. There's no commitments. There's no down payments right now, but email me. I am locked in for the retreat center, and like literally guys, the retreat, the all women's retreat that I had in September 2019 was Oh, it was so amazing. Like, it was so healing. It was so third eye opening. It was so much fun. We did so many things. I introduced all of the ladies to their past lifetimes, to their cosmic family. One of them was introduced to their their hybrid children. We did ecstatic dance. We chilled out on, surfboards in the middle of the day. We have our own private chef. We have our own private beach. Like, it's pretty incredible. So yeah, so we're going back there, and if you're interested, please email me. It's if you need a break and you need to relax and you're looking for a little bit of expansion, let me know. I do have a form that you can fill out, and I also want to say too, for the men and women retreat, a lot of women are a little bit skeptical of having men there. Obviously, men get their own room, women get their own room, and all of that great stuff. But it's only very, very spiritual, grounded pillars of men that I allow into the retreat. And I actually do a little bit of an interview process with the men to make sure that they are aligned to the vibration. So I just want to say to all of the women out there who are a little bit skeptical about having men there in Mexico, it's always an incredible time. Like, usually they are just really just strong, divine, calm, masculine men who typically lead the way for all the other men out there. So just be aware of that. Once again, if you're interested in either of the Mexico retreats, email me. I can put you onto a list right away. Obviously, super limited spots. I think maximum I have 15. Max 15. Maybe potentially around 10 this year, just to keep it into a nice small group. But either way, it's so beautiful. Okay, good. So let's hop right into questions. First question from Joshua. Just a reminder, I pre-took all of the members only questions. I took the ones that most resonated with me, and like I said, they're kind of all across the board. Okay, so member Joshua, I was hoping that you could shed some light on Alzheimer's. What's happening to the body and the soul, and what is it like experiencing that from their perspective? Really great question. So for me, I had a grandma, my baba, my beautiful Polish grandma, who experienced Alzheimer's for quite a while, maybe 5 years before her passing. And I tapped into her energy to see what's going on. So personally, I've had this experience and I've tapped into it. So I thought this was a good question to answer, especially for all of you out there who have aging parents, who have that concern, or even that concern for yourself. The spirituality behind Alzheimer's, from my belief, as always, guys, take it or leave it. The spirituality behind Alzheimer's, what I believe, is that when a soul is ready to leave the body, but has not dealt with the emotional trauma or the energy that has been holding it here on this planet, there's a struggle that ensues. The soul wants to leave and move on and thinks that it's ready. And the body, the human, is like, no, you haven't dealt with this shit yet. And so there's a struggle. And so what happens is the soul is outside of the body most of the time. And when the soul is outside of the body, both space and time don't exist. So the soul travels back into maybe past lifetimes, maybe childhood, maybe, different eras, right? Maybe the soul isn't there at all. And you can feel that in your loved one. And so that's what I've noticed. And then the soul comes back into the body, and all of a sudden, grandma's back again, or your mom's back again, right? And it's like nothing ever happened. So what I recommend for all of you who have parents who are going through Alzheimer's, okay, this is just the spiritual level of it. When they are present, when they are in their body, talk about real shit. Don't just, how's the weather? Are you eating? No. That's not doing your parent, your grandparent, your loved one any service whatsoever. Get down to the root of it. Like, look, Grandma, I know that you never forgave Grandpa for leaving you, 45 years ago. But it's okay. And you had a better life because of it. Like, get to the real shit with your loved one when they are in their body and they are present, so that you allow them to move on. And I actually got into a huge fight with my aunt. It's kind of a personal matter, but a couple years ago. And I told my aunt, this was probably actually 5 years ago, and my grandma was around 90, I think. And I told my aunt, I said, look, I've spoken to Bubba on the other realm, right? I can speak to souls who are, once again, Alzheimer's, just in that state. I don't speak to their human, I speak to their soul. And I said, I've spoken to Grandma, and she wants to leave. She's in pain, she's hurting, and she's out of her body because she's in so much pain, not just physical, but vibrational, energetic, emotional. And I said, I can help her cross over. Like, basically, I said to my aunt, like, I can help Grandma die, and I can help her, override the suffering that she's about to go through in the next 3 years. My aunt blew up at me, said, absolutely not. This is not your decision to make. She's my mother. And then in that moment, I realized that it was her, it was part of my aunt's attachments and cords that was keeping my Bubba from crossing over. And that's okay. And you know what? I said, you know what? This is a lot more complex than I thought, and I didn't realize that there was those kind of attachments and cords on your end, and I won't do anything then. I'll just talk to her, right? And then it took about 5 or 6 years of a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of being in and out of her body to finally leave, So that's what I believe Alzheimer's is from a spiritual perspective, is individuals who have not fully dealt with their emotions from their lifetime that want to leave and cross over but can't because they're stuck here in one way or another. So, yeah. So once again, all of you right now, I'm assuming that none of you have Alzheimer's, or hopefully not. While you're here, deal with your shit. I don't care if you're 20 years old or 40 years old or 80 years old. Deal with your emotions, deal with your attachments to this realm before you're being forced out of this realm and your attachments aren't serving you. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Another question from Joy. What does discernment mean? Good question. I was just reading this chapter in my book. Wink, wink. It's coming out. Actually, I guess I'll make a kind of a preliminary announcement. I am hoping, to release my book January 1st, 2021. And I'm going to have a huge marketing campaign around it and really get you all pumped up about my book. And I'm actually reading it for the first time now, and it's amazing. Like, it is so good. Once again, I can't believe it just got channeled through me in 4 days. Anyway, so what is discernment? This is my perspective of discernment, but I'm sure the internet says something different. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt. My understanding of discernment is the ability to understand what is in harmonic resonance with you. Discerning between right and wrong. Discerning between in vibration or out of vibration, right? High vibration or low vibration. So discernment is just figuring out the difference between, and then the next step is understanding what you particularly resonate with. Hopefully that makes sense. I just learned about that term like a couple years ago, and it blew my mind, and now I use it all the time. So no big deal if you don't know what it means, because I didn't know what it meant either, but there's no other word in the English language that describes that ability to figure out between more than discernment. So, okay, next question. The power of theta. What happens to those who refuse to awaken and refuse to forgive, accept, and let go? Great question. Will they be able to continue to exist in 5D frequency? It's a good question. So I think it was around 2016 when the Galactic Federation finally told me, yeah, about the splitting of the planets. It was 2016. And basically they were describing the Mandela Effect, like, and the planets were splitting, and one's 3D, one's 5D. Yeah, and so that was my first question too. I'm like, what's going to happen to all my loved ones? What's going to happen to all my family members? Like, they're not awakened. They have no idea. Now they are. Thanks, guys. But seriously, there's a ton of people, billions of people out there who are not awakened, who have no idea what spirituality is, who have no idea who they are, because that's really all spirituality is understanding yourself. And so I was concerned. And so, unfortunately, okay, this is how I see it. Like I said before, between 2020 and 2024, there's a huge shift, huge collapse on the planet. This is the opportunity right now when all of the people who haven't done the work can do the work. They have to allow for the ego death. Who here knows someone recently within quarantine who has had an amazing or huge ego death recently? I know a lot of people, and I also know a lot of people through the grapevine who are struggling with their own ego death. And those are the people who are so frustrated and angry and says, I just want things to be back to normal, right? It's like, man, you don't even know what's about to happen, right? And so what I see is that it's going to be struggle, push. And then they have the opportunity, once they collapse that ego, to move into 5D frequency. It's going to be a very, very small percentage of individuals who will not let go. Like, I don't want to say like the lowest vibrational individuals. I don't want to say that. But the individuals who are just way too attached, who are just way too stuck in their own way. And what I was told back then is that they will pass away. They will take an exit point. And it was always contracted for them to take that exit point, or they have a choice to raise their vibration, override their exit point, and stay on the planet. So these are individuals, even now, even this year, especially with COVID, tons of individuals who know deep down at a soul level that they're not going to change into 5D. Those individuals are taking early exit points. A lot of people in the past year or two have had freak accidents, have had cancer, have gotten really sick from COVID or whatever's going on, right? But these individuals are taking these early exit points because of their vibration. There are another section of individuals who are crossing over at this time who are like earth angels. They're like the highest of high vibration, and they're crossing over because they cannot do the work that they set out to do on this planet with the vibration and the density of this planet. So a lot of those individuals who are crossing over, who are like just incredible human beings, are actually doing a ton of work over on the other side in the astral realm. So you've got a mix. There's going to be a lot more of the stubborn, low vibrational individuals who are going to be taking those exit points in the next 4 years. We're actually going to see a huge spike of deaths in the next 4 years, and not just because of COVID, because of like random, not so random reasons, essentially because they're not willing to change. And that's okay, right? I don't believe in death. So for me, that concept doesn't really affect me the same way it would other human beings. And I don't know, call me cold-hearted, but we all just reincarnate. Death only ever means rebirth, right? Ego death only ever means you're clearing space for a rebirth. It's really quite an incredible time of transition. Good questions. Okay, Miss Moon, what's the easiest way for us to have contact with ETs? I got a couple of these questions from my members, so I think it's great. I have heard of different methods, but I'm wondering if you have a specific method that works well for you. All right, are you ready for this? Are you sitting down? Do you have your notebooks? There are many different ways to contact ETs. You can do the CE5 method and call in the ships. You can just stare into the night sky. You can have dreams and they can come through your dreams. Honestly, if you want to have ET contact, do not wait for a spaceship. Don't wait for a UFO sighting. That is like, you're literally wanting interdimensional contact in the third dimension. Do you understand what you're asking for, right? You want contact by these guys, and you're all the way down here. Don't hold your breath on that, right? And I know that the UFOs are coming, and the GFL has said that they're going to make, these waves. That's what they called it, waves of sightings all across the planet. And they're already doing that in a lot of ways, which is incredible. Thank you, guys. But we do not need third dimensional contact in order to be contacted by ETs. If you want to be contacted by your star family, you need to go within. Literally, what I recommend all of you do is maybe it's transcendental meditation and some breath work that actually releases and stimulates your pineal gland and your DMT, right? Maybe it's just literally meditation, sitting in silence, asking to call in your cosmic family, and then you get an image of them, or you get some words from them or what have you. So the easiest way to contact them is to go within, raise your vibration, and contact them within the astral plane, rather than trying to bring them into this third dimension density, right? I mean, they're already here in the third dimension density, but it's like two ships passing in a night, it's just way more difficult to have that kind of contact than to have contact in here. They're always in the astral realm. They're always up there. They're just waiting for us to actually be at their level. They're like, oh, hey, finally, you're here. That's nice. So hopefully that helps all of you. And if a lot of you were like, I want to see a ship and I want to contact them in the astral, that's great. But you may be funneling your energy into seeing a UFO when you could be funneling that energy and going within. It's up to you, though. Okay, Cynthia, how can I deliver myself faster to 5D, but also enjoy my human self? I'm anxious to see the real source. Okay, really great question. So basically, how do you hop into 5D and get there the fastest and the most efficient, but also enjoy your human? And it's funny, these two things are synonymous. They're not different or opposite whatsoever. So enjoying your human is a representation and a symptom of hopping into 5D. It's not like, well, when I'm in 5D, I'm just totally disconnected from my human and I'm not really enjoying my physical life. Not at all. In fact, any resistance that you have whatsoever to your human is going to lower your vibration so that you're not in 5D. The number one thing that all of us can do to get to 5D, the fifth dimension frequency, this beautiful high vibe, is to enjoy, I just got chills, enjoy every moment of your human existence. You guys probably laugh at me because I have like 1.5 million hobbies. Like if I wasn't a spiritual teacher or a channeler, I would just be doing hobbies all day long because I enjoy cooking and eating and gardening and Lego and art and rollerblading and motorcycles and bird watching, and just like literally there are so many aspects of this physical reality that I enjoy that I don't have enough time to enjoy it all. And because of all of those, and I'm not saying go out and get a bunch of hobbies to be in 5D, it's not about that. It's about enjoying your time in this third dimension frequency. The more you enjoy, and I freaking love music and EDM and like, so good. The more things you have to appreciate and enjoy in every physical, present human moment, the more you are skyrocketing into 5D in every moment that you have. And 555, right when I say that. 555 people watching, that's awesome. So once again, move yourself into 5D by being present with your human. by enjoying every aspect of your human reality. If you have any resistance at all to this third dimension frequency, you will never be able to hop into 5D. You need to deal with the third dimension frequency first, because it's first on the totem pole, then you deal with 5D, right? 5D is easy. You just slip into it. You just hop into it. You don't need to meditate on hopping into 5D. You need to work on your human to hop into 5D. You need to work on this physical reality to hop into 5D. If you feel fucking good in every moment in your physical life, in your day-to-day, you're there, right? So anyway, okay, good question though, good question. Okay, Melissa Maz, I believe. Hello, this is my first Q&A. I'm super excited. Awesome, Melissa. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for being here. Once again, guys, if you want a live comment or live chat in the comment section every Sunday morning, and you want to submit your questions, sign up and be a member. My question is, how do I stop fearing my psychic abilities? I love them, I want them, I felt them and used them, and I know that they're there. I just can't access them when I need to, only when they want to, if that makes sense. Absolutely. Okay, good. We actually had a couple of other people mention as well about the psychic abilities. Okay, so who else here, and of course I can only see the members' comments, but who else here has had a fear of their psychic abilities? I bet you probably all of you, and I know that there's like probably a couple of you who are like, I don't fear them, I want them. But when it's 3 a.m. and you're woken up by a sound and, you know, and you're like, I don't know what that is, right? I mean, who's not going to be scared of that? Okay, you know what? It just popped into my mind. I have to tell you a really cool story. You guys ready for this? I think I've maybe mentioned this a long time ago. I have so many experiences though, so it's hard to keep track, but okay. The whole point of the story is even I, talking and being introduced and astral traveling, even I get freaked out sometimes, right? So this was back in 2014, 2013, I think. I mean, once again, by this point, I was a full-on channeler. I was astral traveling. I was talking to ETs. I was doing all the things that I'm doing now. And I was in my apartment, I remember, and it was a crazy thunderstorm, right, back in Canada. Crazy thunderstorm. And as I was brushing my teeth, getting ready for bed, I had this really intense deja vu moment. Also, anyone else this past week have really intense deja vus? I've had really intense deja vus recently. Anyway, besides the point, I digress. Going back, so it was a really crazy thunderstorm. I had this deja vu, and the deja vu actually, in 1 second, gave me a whole snapshot of the night, of what the night was going to look like. It was weird. It was kind of like a portal opened, and I saw the whole layout of that night, which was supposed to be super, what do I call it, like insignificant, right? But really, I actually saw myself getting abducted physically by interdimensionals and taken on a ship, and they were doing an upgrade on me physically, right? And I was on the ship, and then they were going to take me around for a walk. And I remember I literally said very loud in my own mind back in 2013, I'm like, nope, no thank you, nope, I am not ready for that. I don't want to be taken tonight, I'm tired, it's just not really the night for that, right? I mean, once again, like this is me, full on psychic abilities, talking to ETs, saying, no, don't worry about me tonight, this is all good, right? So literally, I saw the vision of me being abducted and what they're going to do, and it was all from the Galactic Federation, like it was all good stuff. And I was like, no, thank you. And it was so funny. And so then in that instant, I get this huge booming voice in my mind. And the voice says, what did it say? I wrote a whole journal entry on it, but it was a long time ago. So I think it was something along the lines of, Elizabeth, we still need to work on you. That's what they said. We still need to work on you. And so I get into my bed, and it was so funny. I was such a university student. I had a mattress on the floor, right? And so I get into my bed, mattress on the floor, and I'm lying down. And I had my eyes closed, and I said, so this voice said, we still need to do work on you. And I said, okay, fine, you can do work on me. Literally, I could not even get the last word out in my mind when there was this huge, and I'm getting chills again, this huge flash of light. Like it literally, like there was a thunderstorm outside, but it literally felt like a bolt of lightning, like pure light. And it was a huge orb, like it was a huge white light orb, huge flash of light in the center of my room. And in that instant, there was, maybe 6 or 7 beings, 6 or 7 beings pop into my room in the physical, guys, full physical bodies. And I'm on a mattress on the floor, laying down, and these beings were lining around my mattress. And it was in a corner, like the mattress was in a corner. So they were like lining the 2 sides of my bed. And I have my eyes open and I'm like laying down, super intimidated, but I also know that they're good guys, right? And they were really tall, like really tall. And I remember looking at them thinking, I recognize you. And I'm thinking this, right? But I forget that they can read my mind. So I'm like, I recognize you, but I don't know you, right? So that's what I said. And they came back and they said, you don't know us personally, but you've worked with our species before. And they were actually, it was so cool. They were first generation hybrid beings. They were half human, half gray. So they're very tall, very skinny. I couldn't see their faces too much, looked humanoid, but also had this very gray presence to them. Especially Gen 1 hybrids are very much more gray than human. Gen 3 hybrids are much more human. And I should do a whole video on hybridization because I know a lot about it, but it doesn't feel like the right time yet. Anyway, and so then what they do, they're all just standing there. They're all clearly doing energy work. And together they created this energy ball. I think it was pure white light. Yeah, it was. No, it was like almost like a golden, yellow, orangey hue. Yeah, that's what it was. And it was about 2 feet away from my heart chakra. It was about this big, so a lot smaller than the initial one. And I believe that was they popped into the reality. Like, I don't know what it was, but like that huge flash of white light was like them teleporting. Yeah, that was teleporting into the room. Anyway, so this like orangish yellow ball, right? And it was like about 2 feet from my heart chakra, and it started flickering. So it would come out of existence, into existence, out of existence, into existence. And I kind of felt like Morse code. Now, I was so freaked out, like my human was so freaked out by the whole experience and these beings being in the room, even though I knew that I'd worked with these hybrids, not the specific personal ones before, but that I astral traveled out of my body consciously and I floated above the room because it was just too much for me. So anyway, and also the reason why I astral traveled out of my body was because my human was freaking out so much. I just needed to like leave my body for a second. I'm like, yo, chill out, So I like leave and I'm now floating above the scene, above the room, and they're doing this work on me. So then I asked them telepathically. So now I'm super calm, floating above the scene. I can see my human laying down. My eyes were closed and I can see the beings that were all around my bed. And I asked one of the beings, I said, so now that you're doing the work on me and I had pretty much no choice in the matter, like, what are you doing? And so I like asked telepathically. And so he said, we're doing DNA upgrades on you, DNA upgrades. And I said, oh, okay, very cool. So I said, so with these DNA upgrades, like, what will I be able to do, right? Like, what is the actual physical effect? And he says, oh, this will make you really telekinetic. This will allow you to basically bend space and time, bend this reality in a way that you've always wanted to do. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited about that. And P.S., I'm still not telekinetic. I don't know what's going on with that ability. I remember the one day I sat down and I tried so hard to move a pen across the table and it just didn't work. So that hasn't come online yet, but I've definitely bent, space and time a lot more since then. But anyway, so yeah, so it's really cool. super weird story, but it really popped into my mind when we're talking about this kind of stuff and being scared of your psychic abilities. So, talking about being scared of your psychic abilities, it is very, very, very common to be scared of your psychic abilities. Because typically, in every single one of your past lifetimes, your psychic abilities have equated to death. Literally, death, survival, fear. Anytime you've been online with your psychic abilities, you have struggled to survive in past lifetimes. So of course you would have fear around your psychic abilities, right? So the biggest thing that you can say to yourself in a controlled environment, such as meditating or channeling or laying down at night or dreaming or what have you, is reminding yourself that you are safe to experience your abilities, your spiritual vibrational abilities. So safety is really key when tapping into that. Okay, so a couple more questions here. Aisling, hopefully I'm saying that right, Aisling Power. Is experiencing darkness a necessary step in ascension? Is it normal to freak out when coming into one's power? So we kind of talked about the second part of that. But darkness is, unfortunately, but also 100% a necessary step of experiencing the light. And, oh my God, my foot's asleep. Okay. All right, that's better. So the darkness is 100% necessary for experiencing the light and high vibrational frequency. It's just we do live in this polarized reality. We do live in this polarized universe. And if you want to master the light and the high vibration, you have to first and foremost master the dark, right? And the low vibrational frequency. So just kind of being aware of that and knowing that the more challenge you put on your path in this lifetime, the stronger of a soul that you are and the more powerful you are. I always say to my clients, even remind myself, the darker you go, the higher you rise. The lower you go, the higher you rise, right? Yeah, cool. All right, Anthony. Hi, Elizabeth. Can you talk about how certain foods affect and change our vibration? A few years back, I ate mostly raw vegan for a month and felt extremely high vibe. Yes, absolutely. So, every single food out there, two main things. Every single food out there has a vibrational frequency to it. And, I always use the example of a beer over kombucha, right? And the different vibrations of each. And of course, any alcohol, and I know kombucha has a little bit of alcohol, but any alcohol in general has a naturally lower vibration. It's technically a poison, not good stuff, right? And same thing with meat. Meat is, these animals are killed in slaughterhouses, and there's so much fear that goes into them, and then you ingest that fear in that food, and it lowers your vibration. It's very interesting. When I was 14 years old, I told my family that I didn't have to eat, that I could live and exist without eating food. And my parents thought that I was some sort of of course at 14, you think that your child is having an eating disorder or some sort of problem, and there's a lot of fear around me saying that sentence. Later on, I realized that I was completely breatharian as a yogi in Burma, and I didn't have to eat, right? I didn't have to eat. So, and that just came through at a young age. So now I'll tell all of you that my diet is very intuitive. I was plant-based vegetarian for quite some time. Then I felt like my body needed fish, and I know all the mercury or what have you. And now I'm just kind of in flow with my diet, and I listen to my body above all else. And it's really odd because some days I'll go an entire day of fasting, and some days I'll feel like my body needs heavy, heavy food. And my blood sugar levels dip drastically when I channel. So I really have to kind of maintain that by snacking more so throughout the day. If you are naturally a very high vibrational individual, you might be drawn to heavier foods because it helps to ground you. Food for me is my best friend. It helps to ground me. I really enjoy food, especially because a lot of interdimensionals just don't eat food. They don't need to. And I resented eating food for such a long time because I'm like, this is such a drag. I need to spend like hours a day prepping food, then eating the food, then digesting the food, then excreting the food. Like, what is this? This is not an efficient system at all, right? I was just so in resentment to my human. Anyway, now I really enjoy cooking and prepping and just buying the food, just all of it. I really enjoy it. Anyway, besides the point, the other thing that I want to mention about food is you can raise the vibration of your food with your intention. It is exactly the same thing as destiny, your predestined contracts, versus your free will. You can override your destiny with your free will. You can override the vibration of your food with your intention. If you're about to drink a beer, and you're like, oh man, my wife hates when I do this, and this is like my 6th beer today, but I'm gonna drink it anyway, and I had a rough day, so I'm gonna drink this beer. You're adding a low vibrational frequency to a low vibrational item, right? If you drink the beer and you're like, man, it's been a long week and it's a hot day and I could really use a cold beer right now, just be the cherry on top of the cake and everything's great. You're taking a low vibrational thing and you're raising its vibration. Anytime I eat fish these days, I raise its vibration by saying thank you, to the fish, right? And giving it love and letting it know that its life was not in vain, right? And I know that some of you are vegan and probably hate the fact that I have an intuitive diet. And that's okay, because I am not controlled by any dogma, by anyone telling me what is or is not right for me. Every day I listen to my body. Some days I really want watermelon, some days I really want pistachios. And I always listen to my body and follow through on what it needs, and that's the best way, I think, to work with your diet. But also understanding that we can raise the vibration of our food and our water simply by setting good intentions around it. Okay. Okay, Rainbow Dragon. I feel my spirit guides are angelic in nature. However, there seems to be different angelic levels. I know most people are familiar with guardian angels. My angels have told me about seraphim angels, which are more like dragon angels. Have you ever heard of this? I have never heard of the seraphim angels. I have never seen them either, because most of my experience is seeing them rather than hearing about things or reading things. I've never seen dragon-like angels. I've definitely met a lot of different dragons, and no, not reptilians, dragons, very different. But there are many, many levels of angels. There are warrior angels. There are healer angels. There are angels who just sing all day, which is incredible. There are archangels. There are ascended master angels. The angels are a really fascinating species and very, very diverse. And most of the angels come from the 7th or 11th dimension, the angelic realms. And I should do a whole video just on angels, because most of us are connected to the angels. Sometimes even more so, I find, connected to the angels than the Palladians, which is pretty incredible. Okay, cool. And then we've got one more last question about astral projection. And before I get there, I just want to make the announcement again. I am opening up, the sign-up sheet for my Mexico retreats. I have 2 Mexico retreats that are already locked in and fully, booked in on my end. Anyway, the first one is going to be in April of 2021, and that is going to be male and female. I'm looking for about 10 to 15 individuals. And then the second one is going to be in September, and that is just for females. So you can contact me. I have a form that you can fill out when you do contact me, and just to make sure that you're in alignment with that. and then we can put your name on a list. There's no obligation for following through until I ask for a deposit, which will probably be, probably beginning of 2021 or end of this year. So just be aware, if you do want to put your name on a list, just to kind of feel it out, it is an incredible experience. I actually have 15 amazing testimonials to edit, but I just don't have the time to edit them. But yeah, I have so many testimonials of the women who took my retreat last year and were absolutely blown away. It's so relaxing, it's so rejuvenating, it's so refreshing, while at the same time so activating and stimulating, and even the back of my head is tingling as I say that. Anyway, so yes, if you're interested in the Mexico retreat, check it out. Just send me an email and we can put you on a list. And then other than that, like, we are back in LA, so you will see this symbol behind me. For those of you who are interested, it's called the Sri Yantra, SHRIYANTA, Yantra, RA. Anyway, check it out. It's a super cool old Hindu symbol. So I love how some conspiracy theorists, love to comment on my page saying, it's a portal, she's a witch. And it is a portal, but it's not a negative thing. It's actually quite powerful. So anywho, last question here from Hair is My Game. Cool name. Question: I've been doing astral projection for as long as I can remember. 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. Ever since then, I'm having a really hard time with doing it. Why is that? So I don't know what Graves' disease is, but I definitely have something to say about why you can no longer astral travel. I know a lot of you watching this were able to astral travel and project when you were a child, and now you can't do it anymore. The reason why, especially when we're talking about a disease in the body, I wouldn't be surprised that Graves' disease actually came into your body, partly due to the fact that you were probably out of your body a lot, or a little bit too much. I was diagnosed with lupus when I was 18 because of just that. I was out of my body. I wasn't dealing with this reality. Anytime you have something in the physical realm that is pulling you back, you will not be able to astral travel. Okay? So just be aware of any sort of resistance that you have. So say, for example, if I were like running or on my motorcycle, or let's not put that out there. Say if I was running, okay, and I ended up tripping and falling and scraping my knee. It's going to be very difficult to astral travel consciously because my soul wants to be in my body to heal my body. That's the thing. Your soul is pure source energy. Your soul is your connection to pure source up there, which means that you kind of need your soul in your body to help heal your body to bring in that pure source energy. So just kind of being aware of that dynamic, and also being aware of when we don't want to deal with something, or we think that we can't deal with something because we're not strong enough to deal with it, we also have a tendency of leaving our body as well, which just isn't good. There's a lot of aspects of astral traveling which are really positive, and then there's also an aspect of astral traveling which is negative, which is more or less leaving because you just can't deal. And that's okay, but it's not necessarily a great place to be in all the time. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. As always, tomorrow's live video is all about child sex trafficking, what the GFL have to say about that, when I first learned about that. And honestly, if you have had any sexual trauma, if you have had any sort of thoughts that you felt like weren't your own, if you feel like you want to do something about what's happening, tomorrow's live video is one that you definitely do not want to miss. It is going to be so powerful. It's probably a video that you want to watch maybe even twice or 3 times, just because of the information and the vibrational impact it's going to have on your soul. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about everything tomorrow, and not hold anything back, because it's time. Just like the reptilian video, it's time to talk about this stuff. And I In the past, I used to feel very worried about my safety, and I'm sure that you understand that because I talk about real shit. In the past, I was worried about my safety in talking about the Illuminati and reptilians. And, I've had my website shut down and hacked, and I've been given warning signs a long time ago about you better not speak up. And so a lot of my fears were justified. These days, no way. Everyone is coming online. Everyone is waking up. Everyone is psychic. Everyone is obtaining the information that I have. And you know what? I truly believe deep down that the Illuminati, the reptilians, the elites of society are being taken down at this time, and they have no time to track a little old me, So I'm putting it all out there. I mean, I'm ready. You're ready. It's time. And it's time that we don't hold anything back because the information needs to be disclosed. So I will see you all tomorrow live at 5:55. Check it out. Also, if you are wanting or interested in the Airbnb or the place that if you're in California and you're interested in the place that I stayed at in Joshua Tree, it's amazing. The views, the sunsets are just absolutely so incredible. So just email me if you want the location and the Airbnb listing. It's going live on August 15th. So you could literally rent out the place that I stayed, and creepily enough, you could sleep in the bed that I was sleeping in, which is cool because there's a huge freaking vortex there. So check it out. Just email me. Other than that, guys, thank you all so much. Sending you all so much love. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.